Hello, my amazing students. A lot of you have told me that you struggle to understand native speakers. Well, don't worry because today you're going to improve your listening skills and you're going to learn natural expressions. Welcome back to J First English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Today, you're going to improve your listening skills by testing your listening skills. I'm going to say a sentence 3 times and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. And this test will progress from beginner A1 to more advanced C1. Let's get started. I'll say it 3 times. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. Did you get this one? I said, I got a lot on my plate. Now, got native speakers pronounce this as gotta, gotta. I got a lot on my plate. The expression is to have a lot on one's plate. Have you heard this? It's very common. When you have a lot on your plate, it means you're very busy. You have many different tasks to complete. Now notice in my spoken expression, I used got. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. Because native speakers commonly replace have with got in spoken English in a casual, informal way. But in written English or more formal professional English, it's best to use have. So let's see some examples. I could say, give the project to Isabel. Amar already has a lot on his plate. Now, of course, our verb is have, so you need to conjugate it with the subject and time reference. In this case, Amar, third person singular. Amar has in the present simple. And notice, Amar has a lot on his plate because the expression requires a possessive, his plate. We also use this expression to talk about a time we were busy in the past. So you have to conjugate that verb. We had a lot on our plate because the subject is we. So now I need our plate. And then you can use a past simple time reference. Last week with the conference.
I got a lot on my plate right now.
I just got a lot on my plate.
Hey, I got a lot on my plate.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. How'd you do? I said, I'm thinking of taking up sewing. Take up is our phrasal verb. And notice I pronounced it as one, taking up, because the preposition belongs to the verb. Native speakers may drop that taking, that G sound, and it sounds more like taken. But then you have to connect the preposition, taken up. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. You may hear that. And did you get sewing? Because of course the pronunciation is the same as sew. There's no sewing though, adding an ing. So sewing is the activity, but the pronunciation is the same as the word sew. Let's talk about this phrasal verb. When you take up an activity or a hobby, it simply means start. And this is one of the reasons that students, you don't understand native speakers because our vocabularies are filled with phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions like this one. So remember our last expression, I have a lot on my plate. Let's combine these together. I'd love to take up sewing, but I already have so much on my plate at work. Of course, take is a verb, so you need to conjugate it. I could say Max took up guitar last year and he's already amazing. What about you? Are you thinking of taking up? Notice you need that gerund, thinking of taking up. Are you thinking of taking up a new activity or hobby? Share that in the comments below.
We'll take up yoga or jogging, or, we'll be organized.
Taking up dressmaking?
Yeah, I am.
Well, Mrs. B and I did take up synchronized swimming.
Let's try a more advanced test. I'll say it 3 times. Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? I said, have you nailed down the dates yet? And the reason why this is more advanced is because I'm using an expression you may not be familiar with. For pronunciation, I said have you, but a lot of native speakers reduce you to just a ya, have ya, have ya nailed. So you might hear that. Now, nailed, notice in the past simple that ed is a very soft D. Nailed, nailed. But we have nailed down. So because I have a D sound on down and these two go together, I'll pronounce it as one and you'll only hear one D sound. Nailed down, nailed down. So it's pronounced exactly the same as nail down, but if you say it together, that D is used for both. Same with dates yet. Notice how that S blends into the Y for yet, dates yet. And it sounds like one word, dates yet, dates yet. The phrasal verb here is to nail something down. And that's when you firmly establish or confirm something. So just think of it as 100% confirmed. I could say I'm not signing the contract until we nail down the terms. Once the terms are nailed down, they're 100% confirmed. So you can think of them as official. So then I'm comfortable signing the contract. In a more everyday context, you might say, let's nail down our vacation plans by the end of the week. And once your plans are nailed down, they're 100% confirmed, so you can get excited about your vacation. Now notice my question, have you nailed down the dates yet? What verb tense is that? It's the present perfect. And I'm using the present perfect because this is an unfinished timeline. If the person says no, it's still possible for them to nail down the dates, to confirm the dates, because it's unfinished. To reply, you can say no, not yet, because we use yet with the present perfect. No, I haven't nailed down the dates yet. Or you could say, yes, I nailed down the dates, past simple, to show a completed past action. Or you could say, yes, I have nailed down the dates. This is the present perfect. It's a completed past action with a result in the present.
Once we nail down our mission.
I'm just nailing down the specifics.
I'll nail it down this week.
Let's do one more, even more advanced. I'll say it 3 times. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. Did you get this one? I said you can't dodge his calls forever. Now notice can't. In spoken English, I'm not going to pronounce that hard can't with the T. You can't dodge. Notice here, the D is silent, the middle D, dodge, dodge. Dodge his calls forever. Now, what does dodge mean? To dodge. This is when you purposely avoid or ignore. So he's calling, but I'm not answering. I'm purposely ignoring it. I'm dodging his call. So to you, I might say you can't dodge speaking in public forever. You can't purposely avoid it or ignore the activity. At some point, you just have to do it. Now notice I use dodge speaking because you can dodge something, his call, or you can dodge doing something. So the verb in ing, dodge speaking. We sometimes use this in a more positive way. I might say, great job dodging that question. So maybe you were asked an inappropriate question in an interview or a meeting, but then you strategically avoided answering that question. So I might say, great job dodging that question.
She's dodging calls.
Why have you been dodging my calls?
She's dodging my phone calls.
Now let's do an imitation exercise. I'm going to say each sentence again 3 times, but I'm going to leave enough time for you to repeat the sentence out loud and imitate my pronunciation. Let's do that now. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. Are you all set? Are you all set? Are you all set? I said, are you all set? Notice that the you becomes more of an unstressed ya or ya. So it's a very subtle difference, ya, ya. Native speakers will use both, are ya, are ya all set? And notice I don't push out that T, so set, all set. Now what does this mean, to be all set? This simply means to be ready. So you can use this all the time in your daily speech. So I could ask you, are you ready for your presentation tomorrow? And you can reply back with those 2 words, all set, all set. The full form would be, I am all set, and then you can just reduce that to all set, which means I'm ready for my presentation tomorrow. We commonly use this to confirm that someone is ready to leave a house, leave a restaurant, leave any location. Are you ready to go? And you can reply back with those 2 words, all set, which means I'm ready to go. All set?
All set?
All set.
Let's try this again, a little more challenging. I'll say it 3 times. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. Did you get this one? I said my week's off to a rocky start. Notice that contraction, weeks, that is week is. My week is, my week's. My week's off. And instead of saying to a, I can combine those together with a w, to. So I use that w to glide. To. My week's off to a rocky start. The reason why this is more difficult is because you may not know the expression. The expression is to be off, to a, and then adjective, start. And in this example, my adjective is rocky. My week's off to a rocky start. Rocky means difficult or uncertain.
He and I got off to a rocky start.
All right, sure. Tonight got off to a weird rocky start.
We often use this adjective rocky to describe relationships. It could be a romantic relationship, a relationship with family or friends, or a relationship with your boss or coworker. Your friend might come to you upset and say, our relationship is a little rocky right now, and she wants your advice. But remember, you can use any adjective with this expression, so hopefully you'll use a positive one. My week's off to an amazing start. And notice, because my adjective starts with a vowel, my article becomes an amazing start.
Off to a great start.
So we're off to a good start.
And you can use this expression as a reply to how's your week going? So why don't you practice this right now? How's your week going? And I want you to put in the comments, my week's off to a adjective start, and you choose the adjective. Put that in the comments, and hopefully it's a positive adjective. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? Did you get this one? I said, what do you have on the go today? Have you heard that native speakers pronounce what do you as whatia? Whatia? We combine all those sounds together. Whatia. An alternative is whatcha. Whatcha. And I use both of them equally, so it's important that you know both of them as well. And this question is how a native speaker will commonly ask, what are you doing today? So the expression is have on the go. What do you have on the go today? What are you doing today? Now, instead of have on the go, native speakers will also say, what do you have going on? So on the go is one option, going on is another option. What do you have going on today?
Hey girl, what do you got going on today?
So to answer, maybe you could say, today I'm studying J4's English lessons. Is that what you have going on today? Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you get this one? I said, did you nod off in the presentation too? Native speakers will combine did you and say did you. Did you. So you hear a j sound. Did you. Or we can reduce that to did ya or did ya. So that or So all 3 options are common. Nod off is a phrasal verb, so we'll pronounce it as one word, nod off. So notice I'll take that D sound and I'll connect it on the off, but I have to combine it together. Nod off, nod off, nod off. To nod off, this means that you fall asleep accidentally when you're not supposed to, like during a presentation. So hopefully you're not nodding off during this lesson right now. Or maybe you nodded off on the bus. I nodded off on the bus and missed my stop. Has that ever happened to you? Or maybe you see one of your coworkers nodding off. I think Sarah nodded off. Someone should wake her up before her boss sees her.
Did you just nod off?
I nodded off.
So I nodded off a little.
Nodded off? Ross, you were snoring.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice your pronunciation. I'm going to say each sentence again, and I want you to repeat the sentence aloud and imitate my pronunciation. Are you all set? Are you all set? Are you all set? My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Is Tuesday doable? Is Tuesday doable? Is Tuesday doable? Did you get this one? I said, is Tuesday doable? Only 3 words, but maybe you didn't hear that last word. Or maybe you heard it, but you don't understand what this means. So let's talk about it. First, for pronunciation, some native speakers pronounce Tuesday as Tuesday, with a ch sound, Tuesday. This is not standard pronunciation in American English. In American English, standard pronunciation is Tuesday, Tuesday. But you may hear Tuesday, so don't be confused, but I recommend you use Tuesday. Let's talk about to be doable. If something is doable, it means it's achievable. So you are able to do it, it's doable. This expression is commonly used in the negative. For example, finishing the project with 3 people wasn't doable, so we hired 2 more.
It's not doable.
In this example, notice wasn't. This is the verb to be doable, is conjugated in the past simple with the subject, and it's in the negative. Of course, you can also use this expression in the positive. You could say, becoming a confident English speaker is doable. It's achievable, right? You agree with that, so put that's doable, that's doable, that's doable, put it in the comments. And I certainly hope these lessons help you do just that. So of course, make sure you subscribe and share these lessons with your friends.
Well, that sounds doable.
Doable. Totally doable.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Did you get this one? I said dinner's ready. You probably heard that one. Let's dig in. Again, maybe you heard the words, but you're not really sure what this means. So let's talk about that. First, notice dinner's ready. Dinner is, and then as a contraction, dinners. Dinner's ready. Let's, this is a contraction, let us. Let's dig in. Dig in is a phrasal verb, so native speakers will link those sounds together. We'll take that G sound and we'll transfer it to the next word. Dig in, gin. So you hear that G in front of in, but you have to say them as one word. Dig in, dig in. Let's dig in. Dig in has a simple meaning. It means to begin eating a meal. Someone might say, the food's getting cold, please dig in. Please start eating. Or someone might say, before we dig in, let's take a moment to appreciate this beautiful meal. Keep in mind this phrasal verb, let's dig in, it's only used with meals. But it's very commonly used and you eat maybe 3 times a day, so you can get a lot of use out of this one expression.
Dig in.
Let's dig in.
Dig in.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Mark my words, I'll get it done. Mark my words, I'll get it done. Mark my words, I'll get it done. How'd you do with this one? I said, mark my words, I'll get it done. So again, pronunciation perhaps easy to understand the words, but what does this mean? First, for pronunciation, notice all. That's our contraction. I will, all. I'll get it. Because we have a T and it's between 2 vowels, so we'll pronounce that T as a soft D, but you have to connect the sounds together. Get it, done. Native speakers do something a little weird. Sometimes we change the word it to her, but we pronounce it as so it will sound like get her done, I'll get her done. Can you get her done? So we do that even though there is no gender in English, so that it doesn't represent a female noun. But when we do change a noun to a gender, we always use her, but we pronounce it as Get her done. You can hear that in this clip.
I think I can get her done
in under 5 hours.
Now, to get it done, to get something done, native speakers will commonly say get her done. This simply means that you complete a task, but we're using it because the task is obvious. It's already been identified, so you can change it to it. So if you're in a meeting and you're discussing a report, then it's obvious, so someone might ask you, can you get it done by 5 o'clock? You can reply back and say, mark my words, I'll get her done. Now, what does mark my words mean? This is a way of saying I promise, or I'm certain this is true. In this case, it's a promise, I will get it done. And that's why we're using the future simple, because we use the future simple with promises and commitments. You can use this expression in more of a dramatic way to say, I'm certain this is true. For example, you shouldn't work with that company, mark my words. So you're emphasizing your certainty about the fact that the person shouldn't work with that company, maybe because they have a bad reputation. Mark my words. So you can use this as a standalone expression before or after to sound quite dramatic, quite forceful.
Mark my words, Seinfeld.
Mark my words.
Mark my words, pal.
Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. We need to up the ante. We need to up the ante. We need to up the ante. Did you get this one? I said we need to up the ante. To is commonly reduced to just a ta. We need to. We need to. We need to up the ante. Notice that pronunciation, ante, ante. And you can pronounce the as the with a long E because ante starts with a vowel. Native speakers don't always follow this rule. To up the ante, this is when you increase your demands in a situation or your risk involved in a situation, and you do this to achieve a better result. This is commonly used in negotiation. So imagine there's a union and they're negotiating with the company, and the union increased their demands. They upped the ante. For example, the union upped the ante by demanding a 5% raise. Now notice here, the word up is used as the verb, to up the ante, and that's why it's conjugated in the past simple, upped. And notice that pronunciation, it's a soft T. The ED is pronounced as a soft T, upped, upped the ante. Now you negotiate anytime you're entering into a partnership, an agreement, even when you accept a job with a company. So you can use this expression. Maybe a business is trying to get a new contract, and someone says, I thought we had until the end of the week to accept the contract. And someone else replies, we did, but they upped the ante. So they increased their demands. We have until 5 p.m. tonight.
Great emotion. Talk about upping the ante.
Well, the dress, up the ante.
We've got to up the ante.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice your pronunciation. I'll say each sentence again 3 times, but after each sentence, I want you to repeat it out loud. Here we go. Is Tuesday doable? Is Tuesday doable? Is Tuesday doable? Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Dinner's ready, let's dig in. Mark my words, I'll get it done. Mark my words, I'll get it done. Mark my words, I'll get it done. We need to up the ante. We need to up the ante. We need to up the ante. Do you want me to make more lessons where we test your listening skills? If you do, then put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And you can keep improving your listening skills with this lesson right now.